All right, let's get started. I'm going to be reviewing the Caregiving Strategies website. I know that you're just getting started, and this can be a little bit overwhelming when you're getting started setting up your WordPress, so I definitely understand that. Don't feel that you need to do everything. I think majority of people, when they first get started, is they say, oh, I need to have this voicemail thing, and I need to have this let's talk thing, and I need to have a player on my homepage, and I need to have this button here, and I need to have this, all this content, and I need to have Google Plus going on. I know a lot of people do a lot of this stuff, but majority of this stuff, if people aren't filling out this thing, get rid of it. If people aren't leaving your voicemails, get rid of it. If people aren't clicking this little button to listen to, get rid of it. You want to limit all your distractions here, because probably what you want people to do is maybe find out about your services or really give you money. So how can you get people to essentially do that as fast as you can? And you really need to find what that goal is. And as I look through your site, you definitely have some code issues. You added this Google Plus thing up here, and it looks like it's missing a little bit of code problems. So I can take a look at the code and give you suggestions on how to fix that. But I understand you probably should think about adding a logo. Just a very basic logo. And up here, since you are adding a logo, let me change the color, make it a little bit better. Look at that. After you add the logo, maybe up here, you can put, maybe you put the contact up there, or you put your email sign up right here. What if you had an email sign up right there and said tips for the top caregivers and how you can spend less money on your care or questions for insurance. I haven't gone through your podcast, and I'm actually going to subscribe and definitely going to give you a review. But I think you really need to tap into the identity of the people who are visiting you. More than likely, it's an older crowd, so you may want to have a picture here of a smiling, happy elderly person. This will clearly identify that is for maybe the caregiver's audience or the healthcare audience. But really, having something that people can identify with is probably the biggest hurdle to get over, because people want to work with people. So if they can create a relationship with you, they're going to listen to your podcast or subscribe to your stuff. So let's break down a little bit further of stuff that you have going on that I noticed. You also have a lot of problems with search engine optimization. Right here, this tab is called your title. You are missing a title. There's no title for your homepage. It's actually this little bar right here. That's the only keyword you're targeting. I know this is hard to understand, but let's just randomly just go to WebMD. So you see the difference here? You have this little line here. WebMD has better information, better health. Now, of course, they're a big site. Even if you go further, let's say, caregiver plans. Just any random site. It doesn't matter. Medicare, and let's not do that. Let's go to something that's a little smaller. Caregiver.org. Fine, whatever. It doesn't matter. But you see, FCA, Hospital Discharge Planning, a Guide to Families and Caregivers, that's what's called the title. You need to ensure that that's up here, because you only have that little line. WebMD has that. This has that. That title is actually the most important part of your page. The fact that you are not marketing yourself for any keywords at all, actually. So definitely have to fix that. If you have any questions, email me back and I'll help you out. So let's move on to a little bit of design stuff. So you have a lot of stuff going on. I like the podcast. I think it's great quality. It sounds really good. I listened to it briefly, but when you arrive at your homepage, I tend to dislike showing the whole entire post on the homepage because it gets confusing. I understand that people want to read a lot of this stuff, but it probably should just be about this big, maybe a couple lines of text, and then get people to learn more on the next page. That's my preference. I think if you can get people to click, then they're going to do that. If not, they're going to click the bounce rate. Click the back button, and your bounce rate is going to go up. So my opinion is to make these posts into excerpts and then clicking to the next page. I really love how you created this infographic, but I don't think you're utilizing it enough. And I'll see if I can bring some examples up as I'm going forward. But this right here is a really nice. I understand that this probably took a little bit to get that done, or you took that from somewhere. But you want to get people to really share this. And yes, people can share it from right here, but maybe there's a way you can embed, like, click to tweet into each post and get people to really share it. But backing up, let's talk about above the fold. So all this right here is above the fold. This right here is about the fold. This is about how people see your page. Now, if someone was, let's say, your demographic, I don't know, whatever, 63 years old, they may be about to go into retirement. Let's say that they're a woman and they make about $60,000 a year. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Are these people who are 63 years old and women and maybe not necessarily online all day, are they going to know what download on iTunes is or download on Stitcher? Now, on the Solopreneur Hour, people are essentially online all day. So they may know what this stuff is, but download on iTunes, it sounds negative. Like, I would say, subscribe to my podcast. Hear us on Stitcher. That's really the way I would do it. Now, I want to take a look at one of my friend's websites that I help him with. StarveTheDoubts.com. There we go. So let's take a look at his. I set his site up to introduce him as the personality for his podcast. As you enter there, you get an opt-in for his special offer. Good job, yes. But what I want to identify with you here is that people want to work with people. People aren't going to give you money if they don't trust you. Having a smiling face and showing yourself off there is very important. Having a clear logo is very important. Having a title tag is very important. He has Starve the Doubts. That's what he's focusing on. He's also using credibility of the people he's interviewed with. So in his market, people can identify and know who these people are so they can subscribe. Also, compared to your download on iTunes, we are using these subscribe buttons. Custom buttons, yes, but very easy and simple to read. And as you scroll down the page, you're now offered this opt-in. That has a little issue right there, I see. But this calls out. So let's compare that to the difference of yours. Let's go back here. Right now, everything, the colors, the levels, it's essentially all on the same level. So this button, I don't know necessarily why it looks like a button. It should look like more like a link. But as soon as I arrive to each and every page, there's no real anchor that's getting me interested in doing this, or all of this. So there's no hierarchy of the content. Contact Ellen, yes, absolutely. And it goes right back to the contact page, which is great. So, taking your picture and putting it up here. A nice smiling face of you with a logo, maybe the email contact, email sign up here. And that could be a great way for you to, set up your site. Let's take a look at another example. that you can try. Give good. Okay. Here's an example of a woman that I follow on her podcast. See how she introduces herself, and immediately when you arrive there, there's just a feeling of positivity or something that allows your eye to clearly go from her eyes to the logo to her value proposition. So she wants you to tune in and turn your passion into action. I know that this is a custom design and it can be difficult to get your design perfect like this. And with all the themes, then it could be somewhat difficult to perfect. But you have to take a little bit of time and actually figure out a way that you can make your website as easy to navigate and scan as this. So she latest interviews, and she's doing what I recommended, having these excerpts which you can click on and learn about that individual podcast. As you scroll down, now you have this great picture of her smiling, happy, ready to live a life you love. It's almost so generic, but has a quality of it that I want to sign up for. Get the goodies. A little bit of humor, great idea. Another example that I just came across the other day is another one I just found, is another custom site, but it could be exactly what the same thing you want to do too. You want to introduce yourself, a nice clean logo, have a nice value proposition, like up here, like they have, clear navigation, clear social elements, and then the opt-in. Now this is a little bit custom too, and it gets you, it could definitely be harder to build, but you see what I'm going for. That level of hierarchy of the design is what is going to get people to really, engage with you. Now, not only is the design important, but just don't feel that you need to do everything. You don't need to set an appointment, have a contact, have a voicemail, have all these different things. You can definitely get overwhelmed with doing all of these different things for sure. You want to just have a clear way so people can clearly understand you and get you to your services right away. Don't feel that you have to put everything on every page. And you can do that by focusing on just a couple pages. Your about page, your home page, and maybe your contact and blog page. I like this page. I think this is probably your best page on your site, and you should probably use this a little bit more. But what I do think that you're doing is that you're overwhelming people with a lot of text. Like if you had more like an intro video here, this would be the perfect place really to put it so people can learn about you. So when I arrive at a site, I like to say, who are you? What do you do? And why do I care? And if you're able to answer those things, then you can do it. But people shouldn't necessarily have to read all of this and then all of this down here to really understand exactly what you do. Now, I like the personal touch that you're adding to it, and I like that you're integrating a little bit of your personal life into your podcast. But I think you need to focus on really building your audience and understanding how you can talk to that individual person. So these are real problems that people have. How can I get my grandmother into the best place possible? How can I avoid insurance problems? How can I, pay these doctors perfectly? And you can break that down easier than what you're doing here, because as I look through your site, I'm really confused about what type of care you're giving. It's really not clear. I think guiding caregivers on the path to financial stability, optimal health, and emotional wellness. It sounds a little bit vague. Like it should say, helping elderlies ensure that they get the proper care they need to save money from insurance and live longer. You know, it's just an idea, but I hope this is helpful, and if you have any questions, please let me know.